Hello guys, welcome back to our channel. Today we are looking at tourism grade 12. We are starting off our year with our term 1 content, the global event. Guys, I want you to make sure that before you get seated with the video, make sure that you have a previous question paper with you. Be it it can be, what do you call this, it can be the prelim exam, or it can be your final exam question papers. It is very much important to work with a question paper. Even in class, to work with a question paper is very much important. If your teacher doesn't practice a question paper with you, you need to make sure that you practice it yourself. You don't have to wait for your teacher. Here is a video, notes are here. You can use this video to be ahead of your teacher because we don't have much time. Have your question paper, have your highlighter, have your pencil while you listen to the video, and look for the questions, how the questions are set from the question paper, relating to each and every content that we are going to have a video about. Let's look at the next slide. Right, learners, on this slide I have chosen 6 topics just to prepare you. I have chosen 6 topics that learners from last year, in their last year's exam, they didn't do very well in the prelims, and I believe in exam, after we got the stats from the department, we call this, I can call this an intervention topics. These topics, learners struggled a lot. They struggled a lot. I don't know whether the reason could be they overlooked at these topics and thought these topics, it's one of the easiest topics. No, don't overlook anything. Don't just study every topic, because these topics can be very much tricky. We have the global events and unforeseen occurrence, marketing SA, time zone, World Heritage Site, professional image and conditions of employment, and under health. But right now on this video, we are going to concentrate on the global events. Let's look at the next slide. What the learner needs to know in this topic: the global event of international significance. The concept that you need to know is the global event. Under the sporting event, we have the FIFA World Cup, we have the Wimbledon, we have the Comrades, we have Tour de France, Olympic Games. Those fall under the sporting events. And then we have other types of events: the G8, Summit on Climate Change, and we have, what do you call this, and then we have other types of events. We will see as the video goes on. And then we are going to focus again on the positive and negative impact of global events on international tourism. And we are going to focus again on the impact of hosting a global event under the domestic tourism in the host country and the economy of the host country. Lastly, we are going to look at the disadvantages and advantages of the host country. Let's look at the next slide. Global event of international significance. Here are the keywords that you need to focus on. The keywords, meaning you need to know all this type of, this keywords, right? The global events, the summit, the host nation and delegates, and all this type of all these keywords, they are very much important, right? You might find a question from the question paper that is it's based on one of these keywords, depending on the type of scenario or depending on the type of a question that it's going to come out from the global events, right? I'm not saying all of them are going to be out in an exam. That is, hence I'm saying have a question paper so that you can be able to have a question paper while you listen to the video so that you can compare the two. But this, it's going to be very, very much helpful. It means when you have a question paper and while you're listening to the video, it is a preparation for exams already. You don't have to wait for September to start preparing for the exam. Now let's look at the definition of global event. What is a global event? A global event is an organized event which is planned and prepared for over a long period of time. Countries around the world host events that will attract tourists, meaning having this type of events, the global events, it is very much significant because it does what? It boosts our economy. It is very, very, very much important to have this type of events. That is why when this type of events take place, they rotate in the world. It doesn't have to be only one particular country that hosts the global event. That hence it is global. So it rotates through the world so that each and every country can have a chance to do what? To boost their economy by using the events. I hope I'm making sense. Because we have so many definitions of global event. I'm not going to read all of them. I think there are 6. I'm not going to read all of them so that we can not waste time on a video. I don't want this video to be too long. Let's move to the next slide. These are the other definition that falls under the global event. The country hosting the event is known as the host country. Every country that participates will be represented by delegates, participants, and spectators. Let's move to the next slide. Examples of other global events. Summits, now G7 summit. Since 1998, the group of 8, which is G8, consists of France, USA, UK, Russia, Germany, Italy, Egypt, and Canada. In 2014, the Russian federal was rejected from the G8 political forum. Hence, it is now G7. It's no longer G8. Following the Russian annexation of Crimea, it is now the group of 7. Now it's G7, it's no longer G8. That is why in tourism learners, it is very much important for you to be able to keep, to keep informed about what is happening in the world. Because anything or any organization or any type of tourism factor can change their names. Hence, I'm saying it's very much important to make sure that you do your research, you are well informed when it comes to the world of tourism. Watch news. Make sure that you follow the make sure that you follow the global events that is happening in the world. Make sure that you know what is happening when it comes to economy, when it comes to the global changes and whatnot, and the fluctuation of currencies and all those things. You need to be very, very much informed. Now, I'm not going to waste too much time on this slide because this is the type of the events that are that are based on our global event. I want us to jump straight to the Conference of the Parties, COP. So learners, if you need these notes, because I have plenty of notes that were compiled together for tourism for the whole year. If you need this type of notes. I'm going to leave my phone number so that you can WhatsApp me and what do you call this, so that you can WhatsApp me if you really need these notes, because I believe that they are going to be very much helpful. All right, let's look at the Conference of the Parties, COP. The Conference of the Parties, COP, to the Kyoto Protocol meets every year to assess the process in dealing with climate change. Meaning this particular parties, they concentrate on, what do you call this? They concentrate on climate changes. And if you look at this one, the G7s, the G7, they meet to discuss. They meet on regular basis, right? They meet on regular basis to do what? To discuss issues of macroeconomy. That is why I said it is very much important to be kept informed, to keep yourself informed of what is happening in the world, right? So this G7s, sorry, they meet on regular basis to discuss macroeconomy management, the international trades, the terrorism, the relations with developing countries. And then on the other hand, we have the Conference of the Parties. These ones, they deal with the what? With the climate change. Can you see that? They deal with the climate change. And then let's look at bullet number 2 and see how the COP takes us to. The Kyoto Protocol is an agreement that puts target in place for the industrialized countries and the European community to reduce the greenhouse gas emissions. Alright, the COP17 was held in South Africa. COP26 was last conference held in Glasgow. Right, the UK in 2021, after the 2020 conference was postponed due to COVID-19 pandemic. The COP27 will be held in Egypt in 2022. That was last year. Again, I'm going to say it, keep informed. Make sure that you know what is happening. You go to the website of the COP27 and check what went down in Egypt in 2028. Maybe you might get more information on that particular what do you call this, on the conferences that happened in 2022. Let's move to the next slide. Alright, we're looking at the examples of the sporting event. I'm not going to take time on explaining what is happening, but you know the FIFA Soccer World Cup takes place in the World Cup. Last year we have the FIFA World Cup Qatar 2022. And on that basis, remember what happened before the World Cup could take place last year. Was it November? October, November, if I'm not mistaken. You guys, you know better because I'm not a fan of soccer, but like I said before, you must make sure that you keep yourself informed on what is happening. So the Soccer World Cup was supposed to take place somewhere in March or June. Again, I'm not too sure. I'm not too sure what was happening, but as a tourism teacher, I was supposed to even know better, right? But that is not a problem. What I'm trying to say is that if you keep yourself informed, when questions come in exam, you know that you don't even have to stress about anything, because you yourself, you know that you are informed, you know what is happening in the tourism world. So in the FIFA World Cup Qatar 2022, the event was moved from June to October due to the reason of heat. Remember, in Qatar it's very much hot. So this type of climate changes, the weather environment can on the other hand have a negative impact on tourism or on the hosting country. I hope I'm making sense. Let's move to the next slide. before we waste any time. Now we have again another sporting event, the Comrade Marathon that takes place in South Africa. An international recognized annual 89-kilometer ultra marathon takes place between Durban and Pietermaritzburg, KZN. The direction of the race alternates every year between these two cities. It is called a down race, right? And an up race. You understand? It is called a down race to Durban and then an up race to Pietermaritzburg. Like I said, I don't want to waste too much time on a video. Let's move to the next slide. Now let's look at the impact of the global events. Remember, on the impact we have the positive and then the negative. Now we are going to look at the positive impact. The positive impact on the host of hosting a global event as a country. It is going to improve the infrastructure, job creation for local people, marketing tourists and locals aware of local culture, spending on the protection of tourist attraction, improved the international relations with other countries. Remember, I said at the beginning, is it the slide number 3 that talks about the keywords? Remember, the international relation is here. It's one of the keywords that you need to know and understand. Let's look at the possible negative impact. There can be negative impact on the environment from the global events due to pollution from motor vehicle and airplane traffic. The country getting into debts to pay for the additional infrastructure and new stadiums and building not being used after the event. It can create a negative impression with tourists and prevents the investment and international tourism. Let's move on to the next slide. Right, the impact on a domestic tourism in the host country. When a host country hosts many global events, it will boost tourism by encouraging both domestic and international tourists. The host country will be promoted as tourist destination for visitors across the globe. But local people will also travel within their own country to where the event takes place locally. Meaning, let's say for instance in South Africa, and then we have World Cup again. I remember in 2010 where we had Soccer World Cup. Meaning if Gauteng, it's the host, what do you call this, the host province. It means people can travel from Limpopo, from Mpumalanga, from KZN to come to Gauteng to do what? To attend the event or to attend the soccer event. You understand by this sentence when they say the visitors, I mean the local people will also travel within their own country to where the event takes place locally. Meaning, when the country hosts the event, it does not mean that all the provinces are going to be given a chance to do what? To host. There are only going to be selected. There's only going to be selected provinces that are going to do what? To host the event. Right? Let's look at the impact on economy. The global event often means the upgrading and improvement of facilities such as stadiums and conference centers, roads and transport services. They also require an increase in the provision of accommodation establishment and hospitality services for the delegates and visitors. The economy boost will lead to an increase in the growth rate of the nation's GDP, Hosting the global event can have a major benefit for the economy of the host country, including on the next slide. There is advantages and to host the global event. What are the advantages of hosting an event? The development of infrastructure, it's always an advantage. Before the global event is hosted, the host nation needs to plan and upgrade facilities, right? We are talking about the securities, the transport, the accommodation, the training facilities, the stadiums, the marketing, promotions. Like there are a lot of things that will need to be a what do you call this, that needs to be planned and upgraded before you do what, before the event takes place. And again, we have after the event, these facilities will be used by the community and in future generation and the future generations, sorry by that. And again, we're looking at the investment. When we have investment, the global event is hosted by SA. It attracts the potential investors from other countries. And then the investment will help to develop the country and boost the economy. The investment opportunity will not only grow the economy, but it will also help create jobs opportunities for the South Africans, right? And the media exposure of the global event provides an ideal opportunity to promote South Africa as an ideal country in which to invest. As well planned, and a well planned event will, with a well planned legacy, will attract a higher level of internal and external investment. And again, on this sense, on the advantages, we are looking at the foreign exchange income. When a tourist visits South Africa, they bring money into the country. That is why we call it the exchange income, right, from foreigners. The bank make money by exchanging the tourist currencies to the local currency through foreign exchange earnings. And again, such events bring a local audience to a national for a period of time. There is an opportunity to broadcast the event through print media and telecommunication. And lastly, we're looking at the multiplier effect. The term refers to the results of tourism production used by tourists that creates wealth, employment, and business opportunities in the area or in the country. Let's look at the disadvantages of the global event. Right. As we know that whenever we have advantages, we also have disadvantages. These are the disadvantages of the global event. Jobs after the event. Hosting a global event offers temporary employment because people are employed for a certain time to help prepare for the event. Meaning most jobs, when the event is going to take place, they are not permanent, right? When event is over, the unemployment rate return to a pre-event level, meaning that people will still going to be unemployed after the event takes place or took place. Cost to the people. Number 2, many things become more expensive for locals as business people and service providers realize that there are many people with money, and so they raise their prices to meet international standards or to earn more during the period of the event. Another thing, to some, the money being put in hosting the event could be better spent on other services. Number 3, unwelcome hassles. Not everyone welcomes the thousands of officials and tourists that come in the area and use their facilities. Let's move to the next slide. Oh, this is the last slide. Thank you so much, guys, for watching. Make sure that you have your question paper. Again, I'm still going to emphasize on having a question paper, because while you listen, get busy with the questions while you're looking at while you're listening to the video. All right, it is going to be very much helpful. Study now, start now, prepare now for your exams, because you don't have much time as you think. Thank you so much for watching, learners. Make sure that you subscribe, you call your friends, you call your classmates so that they can subscribe and we have more community on our channel. I love you guys. Thank you so much. Keep on watching. Bye.